This is textual based study, very simple one. Uh, yeah, this is a passage. Now we are looking at a passage from Dhammasangani. Here, how Dhammasangani describes Middha. When you read this page, maybe Dhammasangani 245 in PTS edition. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we
Okay,
can see that.
because I can see some circle is continuing. Okay, anyway, this is how Dhammasangani describes Middha. Middha is a Chaitasika, that is mental factor or mental concomitant. We can't see Middha. Middha means drowsiness. Hmm? Here we can see very technical translation, torpor. Torpor means drowsiness. Hmm? Sluggishness of body, Middha. We can't see Middha because it is a Chaitasika, mental factor. Then here we can see this is Dhammasangani. We are in Abhidhamma Pitaka. We have question. Tatta katamang middham. What is that? Torpor means. Hmm? What is torpor? So this is a rhetoric question. After rhetoric question, we can see the description. Ya kayas akalyata and so on. So in this description, first we have rhetoric question, then we have description. This description consists of 11 terms. It means here Dhammasangani describes, explains meaning of Middha using 11 terms. Akalyata, akammanyata, onaho, paryonaho, anto samorodho, middham, soppan, pachalaika, soppan again, for the second time, supana, supitatta. Then we can see concluding remark, idam vichyati middham, this is middha. So middha is a chaitasika. We can't see. It does not. It is not a form. Concerning translation, I attempted to produce a good translation as much as I am possible, but I would say that always English translation, this usually English translations do not do, how to say, do not do more justice always to the text. So text is the base, as Vijita just mentioned. Okay, here we can see the description begins with Ya Kayas Akalyata. Kayas, of the body. When we hear this term Kaya, Kayas is the genitive singular. Kaya means body. But in Tipitaka, in the canon, Kaya can have two meanings. First meaning is physical body. The other meaning is mental body. So how can we differentiate? Here, Kaya, we don't know which body is meant, which body was intended. Kaya, when we hear the Kaya, how can we distinguish? Yeah. Even in this description in Dhammasangani, we do not have such a specification. We do not know this means physical body or mental body. Because of this Kaya as a doability, double interpretation possibility, led a misinterpretation in early days, not nowadays. Early days, maybe in 4th century or perhaps before that. Some people, they interpreted here Kaya means physical body. Therefore, they came forward with the Michaditi, wrong view that Middha is a Rupa. They believe that there is a material form or Rupa called Middha. So this Middha Rupa Vada, or the controversy on Middha, is very popular in Pali exegetical works. At least, to the best of my knowledge, it is available at least in seven commentarial text, including Visuddhimagga. Lance Cousin, Mr. Cousins, has addressed this one. You could read this one in Rupert Gittings, that huge book called How Theravada is Theravada. In that book, we have a separate chapter called Teachings of Abhayagiri School or something like that. There, Mr. Cousins discussed this. However, this is something new actually. Kayas. So Theravada, Mahavihara school argue, no, here kaya means, even though it is not specified, this means mental body. They have proof. Let's see another passage from Dhammasangani. This is Dhammasangani where kaya passa is defined. Now we see this is the description. This is how Dhammasangani interprets kaya passaddi, bodily tranquility. Here kaya. So kaya, this is nice example to represent that in this context, in Abhidhamma context, in many cases, kaya represents mental body. Why? Here we can see question. Katama tasmin samaye kaya passad. When do one has bodily tranquility? Or kaya passad. Here is the answer. Ya tasmin samaye vedana kandas, sanya kandas, sankhara kandas. So in this context, kaya means vedana, sanya, and sankhara. Three mental factors. They are not body. Vedana, aggregate of sensation. Sanya, aggregate of perception. And sankhara, maybe volitional, aggregate of volitional formations. So here I have used mental formations. So kaya means in this context, Vedana, Sanya, and Sankhara. They are also not root. So this is nice example that in Abhidhamma context, kaya, even nowadays, I don't know, when we go to, when we were in our primary, secondary school at Dhamma school in Sri Lanka, when our teachers, sometimes including some monks, they explain kaya pasadi as something related to physical body. Why? Kaya, the physical body is the popular meaning. But in Abhidhamma context, kaya pasadi, and also other terms like kaya lahuta, kaya kammanyata, all these places, kaya has nothing to do with physical body, but with mental body. Okay. Therefore, Mahavihara tradition say kaya means mental body. Oh. They further explain, provide proof to this is from Atta Salini, the commentary of Dhammasangani. To prove that kaya stand for mental body, they offer two quotations. First, Sukhancha kayena patisangvedi, vedeti, occurring in many places. This is one of qualities of the third, the meditative absorption or jhana. When one attains third jhana, he says, Sukhancha kayena patisangvedeti, one experiences happiness even with body. The text does not specify that whether it is mental or physical, but kaya. The other example from Kitagiri Sutta, but I have seen this is occurring in any other places. Kayena cheva parama satchang sachikaroti. One experiences the absolute truth, even also with the body. But here also kaya means Vedana, Sanya, and Sankhara. Okay. In this manner, actually in Attasalini we have very lengthy, detailed explanation. They interpret. So in this manner, Mahavihara tradition were able, how to say, not was able to convince the opponent that kaya means mental. Then opponent came with another question, another argument. Okay, if Midda is a mental factor, if it is not a rupa, why the description refers to physically observable features? For example, Midda, as I mentioned, okay, it is a chetasik, mental factor. But look at the description. It has 11 terms. Out of these 11, we have like this soppang, pachalaika. Midda we can't see, but we can see soppa. Soppa means sleeping. When someone is sleeping or when someone is sleepy, we can see that he is sleeping. So we can't see midda, but we can see soppa. At the same time, pachalaika. Even in Dhammasangani and also Vibhanga, we have the term pachalaika. If you read Anguttara Nikaya, Pachalayana Sutta, we have Pachalayana Sutta, a discourse of, how to say, nodding. Pachalayati means nodding. So we can't see Midda because it is a Chetasika, but description, Pachalayika suggests that Pachalayika means nodding, or maybe moving or trembling of eyelid and eyelashes. Pachalaika, chalati. When someone is stricken with sluggishness or sleepiness, his eyelashes and eyelid start to move. So, soppa pachalaika. The opponent asks if soppa pachalaika, they are physically observable. We can see soppa, we can see pachalaika. So, there, according to opponent, there is a mismatch between the myth and its description. Because according to myth, it is chetasika, it is clear. It is mental factor. It is akusala, relating to Vijita's presentation, akusala, kind of akusala chetasika, unwholesome mental factor, myth, akusala. But its description we have physically observable. So they suggest that Midda is the Rupa. Why? Pachalaika, you can see Pachalaika. You can see Soppa. So how did Mahavihar tradition solve this? They say, yes, here Midda is clearly Chetasika, it is a mental factor, it is not a Rupa. But Pachalaika, yes, it is kind of bodily movement, one can observe them. Pachalaika, Soppa, Supana, all are some various degrees of sleeping. So they are, we can observe them, but we can't observe myth. Why? Then the Attasalini, the author of the Attasalini, commentary of Dhammasangani, he says here how myth and maybe let's take this Pachalaika becomes similar. Why? Midda is the cause, Pachalaika is the result. Here, Midda is the cause, Hetu, Pachalaika is the result. What we are doing is by substituting Phala, fruition, result to its cause, we say Midda means Pachalaika. Otherwise, there should be a kind of mismatch. Why? Midda is a Chetasika. Pachalayaka is not a Chetasika. But how, in this context, these two become similar? They are similar. Why? Pachalayaka means just substituting the result of Midda. So here is a Hetu. Let's see Hetu. Hetu is Midda. It leads to Pachalayaka. Midda. Midda maybe. Midda is the Hetu. This leads to Pachalayaka. Nodding. Okay, I'm not going to write the entire word. Pachala, Ika. So Hetu and this Pala. But by substituting this one, we can still consider Pachalaika and Midda similar. But Midda is a Rupa, Pachalaika is not a Rupa. Let's look at how he says. This case, Namakayo, Hetta Nam. In this context, mental body is intended as the Kaya, even though it is not specified. How it is called? Why? Palupachare. Palupachara. It is one of Upachara. Upachara means metronome. In some context, in day-to-day language, in every language, we sometimes substitute phala for hetu or sometimes hetu for phala. But in this context, we mean the hetu, but we use phala. What is hetu? Midda is hetu. Phala is pachalayika, nodding. For example, I can remember one example from Bible. In the Bible, we have this statement, death in the pot. There is death in the pot. In this context, in the Bible, uh, death, death can't stay in a pot. In this context, in the Bible, what is in the pot is some poisonous herbs. There are some poison in the pot, but Bible says death, there is death in the pot. What actually has in the pot is poison. Why? Because of eating, as a result of eating this, consuming these the poisonous herbs, one's life may be ended up with death. So the cause is poison, but result is death. But for when we express it attractively, we substitute phala, death, for its cause. It is called palupachara. So I translate metonymy of effect for cause. This is called palupachara. In this manner, Mahavihara commentator, the author of Attasalini, give answer for this, solve this mismatch, apparent mismatch between these four words. Midda you can't see, but soppa we can see, pachalayika that we can see, and soppa supana supitatang, all are the physically observable natures. But why do they become similar? By substituting. For example, midda and soppa are not similar. But as a result of like this, when someone is smoking, when say smoking, cancer, smoking itself is not a cancer, but it can lead. But when we want to express this very attractive way, we use the result instead of cause. So this is how they explain this one. Come to the last example. Commentators say ittilinga, the final passage in the Tasali. Lingadi nivya indriyas. We have indriya in Abhidhamma, and also not only in Abhidhamma Sutta, we have three indriyas, three faculties. Ittindriya, Purisindriya. These Ittindriya and Purisindriya are rupas, but we can't see them because they do not have Vanna and Santana. Vanna means color, Santana means shape. We can only see the rupas or material forms only if they have Vanna and Santana, color and shape. For example, my voice in Abhidhamma, according to Abhidhamma, my voice also is a rupa. But you can't see my voice, and I can't hear your voice, see your voice, because voice does not have one and santa. In the same manner, Ittindriya and Purisindriya, all these indriyas, we do not have body. It is a rupa, it is a subtle rupa called Sukhuma rupa. Therefore, we can't see. In Abhidhamma, in Dhammasangani, how to say, Dhammasangani call them Upadarupa, derived matter. Derived matter. Maybe, yeah. So we can't see. So we can't see Itindriya, but we can see its result. Here. Tatta kataman rupang Itindriya. Itindriya we can't see, because when we once in one's how to say womb, at Patisandhi stage, once Indriya is decided. Itindriya, even though it is a rupa, we can't see because it is upada rupa. But see, young Itya, Ittilinga. Ittilinga also you can't see, can see, but it is not This one nimitta and kutta. Let's say for easy understanding, itta kappa and itti kutta. Last two. Itti kutta. What is itti kutta? Itti kutta means I translate female occupation. Occupation means not job. Occupation means preferences, choices. How to say? For example, ladies like flowers, and they like colorful dress. But it is not the case regarding how to say men. They do not care about this. Uh, their choices are different. And also walking. Itti kutta. Kutta means gamanadi akaro. Where I translate as deportment. So feminine deportment is different from male, how to say, masculine or men's deportment. The way of walking style of a lady is different from men. There is a difference. Itti, itti akappa. Then how ittindriya and itti akappa become similar? In the same manner, we substitute itta kappa to ittindriya. In that case, ittindriya and itta kappa are similar. Otherwise, they do not have, how to say, equal semantic value. This means ittindriya is a rupa you can't see, but itti akappa or itta kappa one can see. By substituting phala, ittakappa for ittindriya, we use okay in this context. Only in this context, ittakappa and ittindriya are similar. Otherwise, there is no similarity. But hetu, what is the hetu? Here, hetu is ittindriya. When someone has ittindriya, she will receive ittakappa, ittikut, etc. So, here, ittakappa result is mentioned, but its cause, itindriya, is meant. In this manner, we have the similarity. So this is called phalupachara. So this is just I say 1.5 page from my ongoing study. Maybe, yeah. I hope to complete this one and on metonymy, of course, and present as a paper, maybe. This is what I wanted to express, but I am sure since this is a Sukuma presentation, kind of subtle presentation, you may have many questions. So I remain. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aruna, for sharing your insight. Yeah, the main question you raised was that the canonical descriptions of myth looks bodily or material, which creates risk of interpreting it as rupa rather than chetasika, right?
Yeah.
In the historical tension that some non Mahavihara interpretations apparently did read that way, and the solution, as you presented here, that the Arthasalini uses the term palupachara, palupachara, to explain why bodily effects are named while the phenomenon remains mental. And at the same time, you shared that the same hermeneutical logic appears in explanation of Itindriya. I wonder if I will ask it later. Itindriya, these invisible faculties inferred from visible bodily signs. So the big claim that you made was that there is a deliberate Mahavihara exegetical strategy to protect doctrinal precision against misreading of the canon. So I have a little question in relation to this. There is one rupa called Bhava Rupa. Is there any connection with this two?
Yes, this Ittindriya is one of the Bhava Rupas. We have 3 Bhava Rupas: Ittindriya, Purisindriya, and Jivitindriya, life faculty, feminine faculty. I don't know, masculine faculty. I don't know whether Alastia will help you, whether it do with English. And also Jivitindriya, life faculty. three indriyas.
I also would like to hear if you could please share a bit more about how this Palupachara function as a hermeneutical principle beyond this specific debate on myth.
Yeah, thank you very much.
If you have thought about it.
I'm wondering which example should I choose. Okay, for example, commentators, Mahavihara tradition, including Buddha Ghosa and also up to Buddha Datta and Dhammapala, they say nice example. Gata. What is it? Gata. Gulo Semha. Nice example. Gulo. Gula means maybe. Oh, Gula. 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 Gula means maybe molasses, kind of sugar cane, and also sem, phlegm, slashman, semen in Sinhala. So, if one eat gula too much, he may get sem, phlegm, slashman. This phlegm, yeah, may kind of disease. This is the cause. Eating sugar is the eating molasses. Let's say sugar, gula in Sanskrit, gula. Eating gula is the cause, and also the result is same. In the same manner, by means of this analogy, how to say, yeah, kind of parable analogy, Buddha Gosacharya explained the cause and effect relationship between Nibbana and destruction of kilesa. For example, here comes Nibbana. Before attaining Sotapatti position, even before attaining Sotapatti position, or just before attaining Sotapatti stream entry position, one can observe, actualize, or take as an object Nibbana. One can see. As a result of seeing Nibbana, he destroys one's kilesas. It is called Ragakaya, destruction of passion. Dosakaya, destruction of hatred. Destruction of the last one is Mohakaya, delusion. So, this is the cause. Verification of Nibbana at Gotrabu stage and Magga stage, path level, is the cause. It results in destroying defilement. This is one of the Abhidhammic issues. In my book, recently issued book, I discussed this one. Gulos, same the other example is Gulosemha. Vijita, can you remember?
Yes.
Gulosem.
So
Gulosem.
that Kakiri what?
Tipu Sanjara. Tipu
Sanjara.
Sanjara. Yeah. Thank you. Tipusan. Tipusan means kind of pumpkin. Tipusa. In Sanskrit, Trapusha. Tipusa. Tipusa means eating cucumber. Kind of cucumber. In Sri Lanka, we have different varieties of cucumber. Tipusa. And it was jwara. Not jara, not decaying. Jara means jwara in Sanskrit. Sorry. JVA, or maybe fever. As a result of too much consumption of cucumber means sweet cucumber, kind of pumpkin. It end up with jwara. You will finally will get fever. So, this is how we appear. Finally, what we do is we substitute this pala for hetu. We say, okay, this is that, or something like that. Okay, palupachara. The karanupachara is the quite opposite. This I will explain in maybe next presentation, not here. Yeah.